What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you the first of what I'm hoping to be a series of all of the classes in the upcoming Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous beta. So as the title probably told you, today we are starting with the Alchemist. So just a couple things right off the bat. I don't pretend to be a Pathfinder savant. And also, given the very nature of a series like this, I'm kind of experimenting with the format and will respond to feedback as I go. So with that out of the way, we are talking the mechanics as well as just a general overview of the class as well as its 6 archetypes. If you're unaware, each class in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is planned to have 6 archetypes, that is, variations of the class, under the umbrella of the main class. So, people tell me that these are different from the subclasses from D&D. Honestly, I don't see it. They seem essentially exactly like what a subclass is to me, but people tell me I'm wrong about it all the time, so here we are. That said, the Alchemist, as a base, comes with the class skills of Knowledge Arcana, Knowledge World, Perception, Lore Nature, Trickery, as well as Use Magic Device. Now, Alchemists will be proficient with all simple weapons as well as bombs, because the crux of being an alchemist is honestly mixing up various poisons and concoctions, altering the chemistry of living animals and, sentient beings in general, and basically just all-around experimentation. They are also proficient with light armor, but not with shields. Now, at a base, every alchemist will have access to bombs. Bombs will, essentially let you throw bombs, right? However, there are the bomb items that you can get in-game, and then there's an Alchemist's Bomb ability. The Alchemist's Bomb ability will let you use a certain number of bombs per day as if you were just making them on the fly. So it essentially kind of works like a spell, except, it's a bomb. And most of the archetypes will get an extra damage die to this every couple of levels, as well as additional uses of the bomb ability. Now, alchemists also get access to what are called mutagens. This is basically where you can take a +4 alchemical bonus to an ability score at the detriment of a -2 penalty to a different ability score. So if you take the strength mutagen, you get the -2 for your intelligence. If you take the dexterity mutagen, you get -2 to your wisdom. If you take the constitution mutagen, you get a -2 to your charisma. The general thinking here is that you are using these mutagens to enhance your physical prowess while making you less of an affable person at the same time. Thus, it gives you physical prowess via strength, dex, or constitution, whereas it takes away from your personality by taking away from charisma, wisdom, or intelligence. Now, also, all alchemists will pick up the throw anything feat, because in order to use bombs, you throw them. So because of this, as just a base class, all of the archetypes and everything get the throw anything feat at the first level, as well as telling you that an alchemist adds his intelligence modifier to the damage done with splash weapons. In addition to this, alchemists will also get the brew potions feat just as a base class ability, which makes sense because they're alchemists. So the brew potions feat is actually what lets you, of course, craft spells during camping. Now, if we take a look at our character sheet, we'll notice a couple of things. One, all the levels that we get the damage bonus as well as an increase to our number of uses for our bombs every couple of levels. We'll see our mutagen slots. At level 14, our mutagens will last even longer. And then at level 20, this leads to a grand discovery, which are just very useful versions of the regular discoveries, which I'll get to in just a second. We also see all of our discovery slots. Now, every even level, an alchemist is going to learn discoveries. So these can vary a little bit depending on what archetype you get, and honestly, there's just a ton of them, so I can't go over all of them. But essentially, these are going to do things like let you add different damage types to your bomb abilities, give you different types of mutagens. For instance, there's a feral mutagen that gives you claw attacks and stuff. In addition to this, we are also going to pick up poison resistance at a couple different levels, those levels being 2, 5, and 8. And then at level 10, our alchemist just becomes flat out immune to poisons. Before we move on to archetypes, I do want to mention that alchemists actually get their own spellbook, that being the Alchemist Spellbook. Now, you do have to prep these. This isn't like spontaneous casting where you just get a certain amount of spell slots from any spell that you know. You do actually have to prepare these spells every, level or whatever. That way they can be restored upon rest. Now, with that out of the way, let's start talking archetypes. First up, we have the Chi Urchin. So, this is going to give us access to a bunch of healing abilities. So instead of trying to use our alchemy bombs and things to hurt people, we're also going to try to, heal. So this comes with, at second level, picking up Infused Curative. This is going to make our extracts, that is our spells basically that an alchemist gets, and it's going to give those spells the infusions abilities, because most alchemist spells can only be used on themselves. However, with the Infused Curative, it lets our healing extracts, or spells if you will, be used on other people as well as himself. At level 5, our Chi Urchin will pick up the Skill Focus Lore Religion feat. This is going to give us a big bonus on our Lore Religion checks, especially if we have 10 or more. And then at level 10, a Chi Urchin adds Breath of Life to their formula book. This is basically your spells. And it is affected by your Infused Curative ability that I mentioned earlier, which means you can use it on other people, not just yourself. And Breath of Life lets you bring somebody back from being dead, if I remember correctly. Now, that brings us to our Grenadier. So, Grenadiers, as you might imagine, like to specialize in using their bombs as well as infusing their weapons with alchemical, reagents and things to deal more damage that way. Now, this comes in a few different forms. First and foremost, at first level, we will pick up the Martial Weapons Proficiency, which means in addition to light weapons, we can now use martial weapons. And then at level 2, we gain Alchemical Weapon. This lets us infuse our weapon or ammunition with a single harmful alchemical liquid or powder, such as an acid flask or alchemist fire. So these are the in-game alchemy items that your character can throw when you're out of your regular bomb ability. Now, also at level 2, Grenadiers pick up the Precise Bomb ability feat. It's not really a feat, but I don't know what you'd call it. Either way, they get Precise Bomb, which lets them throw their bombs, but not affect allies with the damage and things like that, which, will keep you from hurting your allies as you're throwing bombs around the place. Then we get Directed Blast. So Grenadiers have the ability to use their bombs in a cone in front of them versus throwing it somewhere. So this basically turns all of your bombs into a cone spell. And then we have our Staggering Blast ability at 10. So at this point, any creature directly hit by a Grenadier's bomb is staggered for a number of rounds, unless they successfully roll a Fortitude save, which will reduce the duration to 1 round. Now, I do want to take the Grenadier as a moment to mention this. Some of the stat sheets here, or like level up sheets, if you will, for the Alchemist mention poison resistance and others don't. However, if you use the little scroll wheel to actually look at what each level gives you, which is this thing to the left here, it says that all of them get the poison resistance, so I'm not really sure which one to believe, and that's just kind of the hazard of it being a beta, I guess. Nonetheless, moving on to our Incense Synthesizer. So our Incense Synthesizers get Incense Fog. This will let them create a fog of incense in a 15-foot area to basically give allies +1 to attack and weapon damage rolls. Now, unfortunately, I can't really tell you too much more about what the Incense Synthesizer is able to do for you, because all of the incense that you would get is all just blank text right now. So I really don't know exactly what these will be, but just know that I think the general gist of it is that you'll be able to spread incense around and it will have various supporting effects. Now that brings us to Metamorphs. So Metamorphs pick up the Stealth class skill in addition to all of the regular skills, but they also lose their ability to throw their bombs in a trade-off for things like Adaptive Physiology, that at 3rd, 6th, and 18th level, they will get a 25, 50, and 75% chance respectively to just flat out negate critical hits and precision damage. In addition to that, and probably the name of the archetype here, they will be able to turn themselves into beasts. Starting at level 4, a Metamorph will be able to use the Shape Changer ability. Now, at level 4, this works as Beast Shape 1, At 9th level, it works as Beast Shape 2. 11th level, it becomes Beast Shape 3. And then at 13th level, it becomes Beast Shape 4 or Dragonkind 1. And then at 15, it becomes Dragonkind 2. Now, Beast Shape 1 turns you into a wolf, gives you some extra stuff. Beast Shape 2 turns you into a medium-sized leopard, which will give you faster attacks and everything. Beast Shape 3 makes you a large bear, again giving you ever-increasing damage as well as extra armor bonuses. Beast Shape 4 lets you turn into one of several large animals. And then Dragonkind 1 lets you turn into a medium-sized dragon-like creature, which then gives you a variety of different bonuses, as well as a breath weapon. And then Dragonkind 2 lets you assume the form of a large dragon-like creature, giving you even more abilities. So Preservationists, as their special thing, get to pick up the Bottled Ally abilities. So these will essentially add Summon Nature's ally spells and things like that to your formula book, which again is just your spell book as an alchemist, really. And then we have the Vivisectionist. So the Vivisectionist, instead of getting to throw bombs like the other archetypes, they get a ton of sneak attack damage. So each one of those tiers you can see is an extra sneak attack die. In addition to that, every 2 levels, instead of regular discoveries, they get to take medical discoveries, which are mostly pretty similar to the regular discoveries. In addition to that, at level 10, the Vivisectionist can start taking advanced rogue talents. Basically, this lets the Vivisectionist take one of the advanced rogue talents from that list. But we will discuss more of that when we actually cover the rogue class. And that, guys, is going to do it for this mechanical overview of the Alchemist class, as well as its various archetypes. So, a ton of flavor here. I like that they simultaneously made the bombs and stuff part of it, and then for certain archetypes, if you pick those, it actually takes the bomb away from you and replaces it with some sort of typically melee function. So again, personally, I like it. I think the Alchemist class has a ton of flavor, and truth be told, Vivisectionist is very strong. I know for a fact this was a pretty broken class to play in Pathfinder Kingmaker because of some of the stuff you could do early game that if you min-maxed was just ridiculous. With that out of the way, guys, I certainly hope you enjoyed a look at the Alchemist class in the upcoming Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and it helps you make some decisions, or at least exposes you to some things you didn't necessarily know about the Alchemist. So, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Truly, I do appreciate it. If you'd like to support the channel as well as help support additional content being created in the future, I encourage you to check out the link down below for my merch store, which is hands down the single best way to support the channel because you get physical merchandise, as well as it being the most direct way to help the channel out. So with that out of the way, I hope you like, comment, subscribe, but regardless, truly, again, thank you so much for watching. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.